Hey everyone. Today we're doing Reader's Workshop number 17, which is all about really taking your reading to the next level. So once you're able to decode all those words and read them in a sentence and read a paragraph and then read a book, the next thing that you want to be able to do is really think about what you're reading. So today we're going to talk about one of the strategies that readers use to do that. Today I want to remind you that texts or books that you're reading don't signal only for readers to make movies in their minds or list or predict. They also sometimes make you go, huh? And ask questions. So this is another way that readers take their comprehension to the next level. They think about possible answers to their questions. They might reread something that they've already read, and they might rethink about things that they thought they had figured out but maybe actually didn't. I put into your reader's notebooks a chart that looks like this. I'm not sure, actually didn't look at it after I put it in there, but this is a chart, a really kind of a cool chart that shows you, this is kind of a so-so post-it. It's very basic. It just says, in this case, Mr. Putter is tired, or Mr. Putter is painting. It names a feeling, it says something about the book. That's like a 1-star post-it. A 2-star post-it might be something where you make a prediction, or you identify a feeling, you might identify a problem and a solution, or you might talk about one page. So here the example is, I think Mr. Putter will paint the porch. Mrs. Toolberry kept Zeke and Tabby at her house. Mr. Putter painted the porch. So both of these are pretty good. They're better than the first one. Not super, super basic, but they still don't tell you that much information. Now, a 3-star post-it talks about what we are talking about. It talks about the lesson in your book, and it talks about what we're trying to learn in Reader's Workshop. It might name a pattern you're noticing across the book. It might you might make predictions and adjust your predictions, and you might notice changes in your characters, what your character is doing. And then a 4-star post-it is kind of all those things, plus it might identify how a character handles a problem. So not just telling what the problem is, but what did the character do about it. It might notice changes in the character's feelings or actions. So you might not just say the character ran from the house to the barn. You might say the character ran with a limp from the house to the barn because they had twisted their ankle in the creek in the last chapter. They develop a theory about the character's motivation. So you might say, I think the character was running from the house to the barn because they were worried about the cows in the coming storm. That's a 4-star post-it. And that poster is in your reader's notebook if you want to take a look at it again. Here is a chart that just talks about asking questions, revisiting earlier parts in a book, and kind of stretching your thinking, making sure that you're thinking through what you've read. And so this is what I want you to try today. I want you to, as you're reading, pay attention to what you've read and whether or not you might have questions. Let's see. So questions and answers. So what questions do you still have? What are you wondering? What do you like what would you like to ask the author or one of the characters? What do you like about, what do you want to know more about? And if you reread this, what would you be trying to figure out the second time? So I can tell you, I often reread books. I love some of my books so much that I read them more than once. And each time I learn something new. It's really, really cool. So you might want to revisit earlier parts of your book. So today, the real big goal for you, though, is to do this work. Ask yourself questions, revisit earlier parts, and jot these things down because you're going to start keeping Post-it notes in your books or notes next to your book, and you're going to add to a Padlet that looks like this. Now, you'll notice that there are names at the top, and we haven't done a Padlet like this before. You have to scroll to the side. These names, do you recognize anybody's name here? Oh, I bet you do. This is our whole class. Everyone has their own column, and they're in alphabetical order by first name. So if you have a name that begins with an A, you're at the beginning. If you're an S, then you have to scroll all the way to the side. But everybody's name is here. And what I would like for you to do each time you're reading, now we're adding another step to our reading. So now we used to read for 20 minutes and fill in our reading log. Now, each time we read, each weekday, you're going to read for 20 or 30 minutes, take some notes about what you're wondering about, and add them to this Padlet and fill out your reading log. So we're adding a couple of steps to your reading today, but this will help you bring your reading to the next level. Let's see, let me go back here. That is the end of our lesson. So I hope you enjoy reading. Just always thinking about making your reading better and better. So try to be paying